So Smackdown just happened, and I think it was a pretty good show. Like this was kind of the show that you needed on like a return to 2 hour Smackdown, because this Smackdown, I think first it flew by. Second, I think everyone got the time that they kind of deserved. Any match didn't feel like it was going long for the sake of it. Maybe Carmelo and Priest, but they had a good one. Like, and in the end, in that match, both got protected because Damien did win, but he won by disqualification, and it was due to Aleister Black in full suit attacking him. I can see this match being added to SummerSlam, and maybe this is just a 1 week thing, but I do think in this feud, Carmelo is gonna get involved. He is going to get involved because 2 weeks before they had a segment where Carmelo was like warning Priest not to get involved in this stuff. And also, what will happen to R-Truth? Is he getting involved in this also, or is he just off? Because they like R-Truth since returning has not lost a single match. Like he won against John Cena due to DQ. He defeated Aleister Black in like 15 seconds. So I do think maybe he is also being here. And apart from that, uh, they also like had that they didn't have much time to set up things for SummerSlam, but they used it in a creative way for the women's tag team championships. Is that they had Charlotte use her political powers to ensure that they have a tag team title match at SummerSlam. So they did it in a creative way. You also had Raquel versus Charlotte, where Charlotte won due to Alexa Bliss's help. And the thing is, finally, what Triple H and WWE wanted is happening. Like Charlotte is getting over as a babyface, and I think it's good for her and good for the company. And because they just found gold in I don't know what is the saying, but they have done well. Like Charlotte and Alexa, like almost hugging but not really hugging. Like them having those backstage segment. Like this is working. I do think they need to do more funny stuff or like more like bonding stuff with them. So that match is set for SummerSlam now, and you also had at the start of the show you had a car crash, but it's like which is very funny that only Tanga Loa got injured, and that too on the left side of the face, nothing else, and no one else had a scratch on them. And it was like they're trying to push that they didn't get a scratch because they're so like because they're fucking so big and everything, and look at this Tangaloa, he's so fucking small. And that was the whole thing because Jacob Fatu got arrested. But then what happened was that the police were like, Jimmy went there, which is very ironic. Jimmy going to prove someone's innocence, and they were like, police was like, okay, like you didn't do it, so you're free to do whatever. And then they had the whole police come in, and then he came to the ring, he beat Solo's ass. And even Solo, like, once a criminal always a criminal, doing it in a white person accent, and then just like he's funny also. And this angle has been working. Like they have realized that Jacob versus Solo is kind of repetitive, because first they're doing it a second time, and also that it's bloodline stuff, so interferences and everything, but they have added spice to it, like doing like car crashes. And then Jimmy and Jacob together were really awesome, like them beating everyone's ass in the bloodline. Like only uh, what Tala Tonga got something out of it. Like he gave a big boot, and then he was out of the ring due to both of them, I think, clotheslining him. Like Jacob hitting him with the chair, Jimmy hitting the splash on Tangaloa, Jacob hitting the moonsault on JC Mateo, and it's in a steel cage. So they have also added spice. I do think they can have Solo retain the title by having Tama Tonga return. It looks like he's gonna help Jacob, but he helps Solo, and Solo, I think, either crawls out of the steel cage or gets thrown off the steel cage or something, and he retains the title. I do think they're gonna continue this going forward, because other than that, they don't really have anything in the United States Championship division. Uh, they will have eventually when they have this feud between Damien and Lester, maybe involving Carmelo and R-Truth, go further, but they are in their nascent stages right now. So you kind of also need to extend this feud, and I think whenever Jacob finally wins, it can be at Paris, it can be at Survivor Series. I don't know when, or it can be at Perth also. I do think they want this to be like a definitive, like Jacob is winning, and I hope they add Jimmy also to these matches. Maybe do like a triple threat, maybe a fatal four way also, because I think Jimmy also deserves a spot in the spotlight rather than just being like another babyface body for Jacob to tag with. And apart from that, you had a great fatal four-way tag team match. Like now, randomly, Candice is back with DIY when she was with Naya, and BFAB is back with Street Profit. And Street Profit essentially was they were trying to act like funny and all their usual selves, but then they changed their demeanor. They were like, we are like being all this haughty totty because we are not like it is not the realization is not coming through and they're waiting, and the way that they conducted the promo, it kind of seemed like Street Profits were going to get involved, but they are not. But I can see next week Street Profits. I do think probably DIY is also getting this was a fucking great match. I think this is probably the largest response, like the most response that Ray Phoenix has received from the crowd. Maybe because it's Texas, maybe it's something like in the commercial break we were chanting "We want Ray." Like Champa doing the fucking what it was, the black hole slam or whatever from the top to the outside in commercial break. Like it was just pure chaos. After a while, the referee just gave up, and this is why you should have the fatal four-way tag teams where four people are in the ring. I know that that would be like a difficult match to structure, but this two-way doesn't really help because anyways it's not long that you have two of them in the ring anyways. Like a third person eventually gets involved and then it's just pure chaos anyways. Like you had Stephanie and Alba in the few minutes that they had. Like Alba did show that she can hang in there with the best of them, but it was essentially a squash. Stephanie won, and that is I am liking what they're doing with Stephanie because they could have easily had Stephanie being like the kind of like lurking behind the shadows. Like they could do a segment like she walks up to Rhea and she laughs. And that's just it, because trying to set up things that, oh, you're going to face me, because they're probably going to do that at one time, but they're not going to do just like teases that she just went there, stood there, smiled, and then went away. Like the minimal, like they know that they were eventually going to have her face the women's champion at Clash of Paris, so we have to build her up. The secret Hervis is probably the most perfect like heat magnets who anyone can get, any baby face can get reactions from, and putting her up with Nikki Bella, who is a well-known name, like gives her stuff to do. And I think probably they're gonna have a match at SummerSlam. Maybe they have, and they announce like a mystery tag partner, and then mystery tag partners is either Paige or Brie Bella. That's what happened at SummerSlam. We can see that happening. But I'm glad Stephanie she got a pop at the start also, and this builds her up. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. They're doing this in a proper way. And going back to the tag team match, it was just chaos. Like there were several times that I thought that DIY was gonna win. One thing that they really like did well with the structure of the match was that Fraxium at times were like breaking stuff up, and you showed that how great Fraxium is by having them break stuff up, like do all these outlandish moves. And like Motor City Machine Guns were they were like the old workhorse tag team in the ring. Like they were doing the basics, but they were getting it right. DIY was like the spoiled brats. Like they were like always doing like cheating and stuff. Always like when Candice distracted, I thought that Champa was losing, like Andrade was losing by a roll up, but that didn't happen. In the end, like Phoenix flew to the outside, like jumping on, like taking the lift off from Champa's back. Andrade hit the final message and got the pin, and Andrade has been getting the pin. Like even I think he got the pin when it was them versus Fraxium. I think he got the pin when it was them versus DIY too. Earlier, like Ray had a great pinfall, even though like the referee should have counted three maybe. And Ray Phoenix was all like dressed up, like no skin to show also. and I'm really liking it. I can see them having just like have the Wyatt Six interfere and Andrade and Rey Phoenix lose, but I hope that they have the SmackDown Tag Team Division come out. Maybe due to the distraction, Wyatt Six win, or maybe due to the distraction and all, the match ends in like a no contest, and this sets up like a ladder match, multi tag match at SummerSlam. Like this is 2 nights. You want this to be WrestleMania of the summer, right? You're not gonna do it without a TLC or a ladder match. Like, come on. So I think probably I hope they have like a fatal five. Like they have what? They had 4 teams here. Like maybe like add Wyatt Six, have like a fatal five tag match at SummerSlam. I hope they had Los Garzas too, but I don't know if they will be able to like handle 12 people in the ring at one time for a ladder match. Maybe 10 is fine for them. 12 is maybe a lot, but I hope they do stuff with them also. And apart from that, the Cody Cena segment was fine. It was essentially Cody talking about how he never hesitated about other opponents, but he hesitated about Cena. And Cena came out. Cena, he's doing all the whole Hollywood stuff, like adding that into his character because he was not here for like 2 weeks after 2 weeks after Night of Champions. So he's saying that I have a big movie with Netflix. I'm not going to be there. Then Cody attacks Cena. Cena kind of gets the better of him. And then Cody gets him back to the ring, gives him a zesty ass splash with the contract in the hand, which was funny. And then he had an unconscious Cena sign the contract. I don't think that will stand in court. And it was essentially that he announced that it will not just be for the championship, it will be a street fight. He also hit him with the belt. He didn't hesitate, he pulled the trigger. I would have preferred it to be a I Quit match because the visual of both Cody and Cena bleeding, Cody with a chain around Cena's neck, like giving him an STF and telling him to I quit, and you have Cena say I quit eventually. I think that would have been a much better visual. It would have made sense with the heel character also. It kind of would have set Cena to be on the face part too, that I did the one thing that I never did as a baby face, and I think that was the trigger for me to try to get back the fans' approval, was that I quit. And I think that is the thing that broke me. Like as a heel, like I finally realized that what I did was wrong, and I need redemption. So you could have done that. I think that would have been better because Cena matches are like a street fight without it being a street fight because you have so much smoke and mirrors. Anyways, like the title shots, the fucking 18 interferences. So I think the match would be good because the all the smoke and mirrors of the kendo sticks chairs will hide Cena's incompetence. Like I won't be surprised if they have Travis Scott because WWE knows how to use the fans like sadness or like anger in a way that it actually makes it intriguing because you're always in two minds that, oh, what if they do the finish again, and then they don't do the finish, they just have Cody beat up Travis Scott and in the end beat up Cena and win the title. I don't think Seth is getting involved in this stuff. I think that all got ended at Night of Champions. If the Seth's injury is fake or it's like a minor injury, I think it's Seth cashing against Punk. And that was the show. Like they had Julia shown with Kiana James. Maybe Kiana James will be like a lackey for Julia. I think they need to do more with the United States Championship. They had one video package vignette after Julia won the United States Championship on the next SmackDown, but apart from that, they have done nothing. I do hope maybe next week or next week they have like a rematch for the United States Championship, like have Kiana James interfere, like Julia retains, like do something. And I do think with the tax stuff, like because of what happened on Monday, I can see at Raw. First of all, why was Adam Pearce here? Is Nick Aldis on vacation? And second, I think Kabuki Warriors will demand to get added in the title match. I can see them get added because I don't think they're gonna have Oscar and Kyrie off the show, especially Asuka. I don't think they're gonna have her off the show. I think they're gonna do it a triple threat, and I can see Roxanne and Raquel retaining because one thing is, of course, you can have Charlotte and Alexa win because they're so red hot right now. You want to like strike the iron when it's hot. But the thing is that I do think when they become champions, apart from like the secret Herways, you don't really have much any teams with substance for them to go up against. So when they become tag team champions, they're just tag team champions. Like you don't really have much stuff to do. But when you have them on the chase, like you can have the different dynamics between them. Maybe Charlotte gets angry one week, maybe Alexa gets, maybe they bring up their history, maybe there are ups and downs, maybe there is a time that they actually do split, maybe go into a United States Championship program, but then they lose to Julia and they get back together again because they're both losers and they're like we are at the bottom of the table, let's bounce back. They go into like a winning streak, climbing from the bottom to the top and finally defeat Raquel and Roxanne, maybe whenever Liv returns. Because I do think right now Raquel and Roxy should be champions because you're having the whole Judgment Day dynamic of Finn is right that they are all champions without Liv. And I think Raquel and Roxanne, if one of them is not winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship, then them losing the tag team championship doesn't make sense because they're finally having Raquel, due to a tag team being with Roxanne and not with Liv, like be like one of the focus because Roxanne is like the screaming kid and Raquel is like the big monster. So she is getting more chance to be over. I do think you have much more mileage in the chase. So I hope that's what they do. I think a good little SmackDown, a three out of five SmackDown. It was good because there is some stuff that I missed because I woke up half hour late when SmackDown happened. So I missed a lot of stuff I didn't really like pay attention to because I was scrolling and like a monkey entered my balcony. So with his family, I'm glad everything was locked, but now they're off. So that was my review. If you like this type of content, like this review, tell me your thoughts about Smackdown in the comment section. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description, so follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shabboy@okicici, is also in the description, so go donate any amount of money which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for today. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.